Hello guys, welcome to the studio. Today we're going to take a quick look at this particular plugin, which is let me show you, that is the Flex Beat player. We are going to take a look at how best you can make proper use of it in terms of the whole automation. We'll talk about how you can convert something like this into something like this. Yes, yo. That's what I'm talking about. Flex Beats can be applied to any of your preferred aspects of your project, talking about maybe the program, or you want to attach it to either the pad in itself individually. As long as you can put an insert, you can make use of Flex Beats. Maybe on your master, you might have to use a different method to get it on. But as far as your program and your pads are concerned, those are your samples, you can easily apply Flex Beats. And the good thing about it is you don't really need to do much. Once you go to the settings and you take care of the parameters, let the system take over the rest. Now, the simple form, or the simplest way to actually onboard it, is simply by going to insert. Let's say it's not there before. All you need to do is simply click on what you have here, then you can scroll to see the Flex Beats player. If you don't have it already, I will advise you go to where I went to earlier, which is basically go to your menu, go to your preference. If you go here, preferences, you will be able to see under activate plugins. It's there as a trial version. You can actually try it to be sure that, okay, something that you will like, and I can assure you, you will love it. If you are sure about your career as a music producer and you want to be adding element of surprise once in a while to your beats, it's a must-have. I can assure you that. So go ahead and just grab it. But in the meantime, you can still download the demo. You can get trial, I think, for like 10 days, and it will allow you to actually see what it can do, to the fullest of its power. Then you can choose to either pick it up or not. So now back to the main page. Right here, if you click on your insert, that's where you can actually bring it in. When you now select, you can, from the drop down list, you can now select Flex Player. Once it's in, it's already armed, then you can go to the settings. Now, let me just delete what I've already done before, then we'll try and see how we can do it again. Let me go back to main. Even I can just go back here and delete. So now it's gone off this project. If I play it from start, you can hear this, right? I believe you can hear that. That is, I actually applied it to that guitar, and the full guitar, as you can hear, is so that is basically what you have there on your guitars. But I've taken a liberty of, I'm attaching that effect to the entire programs before now and the whole automation, but now that I've deleted it, everything is gone. So what's going to happen is you're going to walk through the process of putting everything back on, and then how the automation works. So the first thing you need to do is, if you click on here, like I said earlier, when you're here, you can search to where the Flex Beats player is. You can see it will be under your Akai Professional. Then you just scroll down, Flex Beats player, and then once you're there, basically just tap it's in. But this doesn't mean it's already applied, like I said earlier. So if you come here, we've already soloed that our guitar. I got that guitar from Hanan's anyway, Hanan's Beats, nice one. Now if you play start, then you can now play around. Nice one. I love this. Just the backspin. I love this repeats too. Yeah. Anyways, that is basically what you have there that, Flex Beat Player can do for you. Basically has a way of chopping and applying some level of effects to your sound to make it just more, creative. Basically, that's what it is. And from here, if you come here, you can actually select from the series of the patterns that you already have that you can, that kind of like a preset that you can load up, and then here basically how it works, and you can apply those settings. And then you can also go ahead, if you go back from here, you can also basically come to edit, and you can see here we have empty pad. You can also select one of those pads, and then let's start with this 2-beat repeat. You can see, so basically what I've done now is I changed the one that was here before, which happens to be the empty one, to a 2-beat repeat. But because I like it to be in an empty state where nothing is actually happening there, because I need that space if I want to do some automation. I need a rest state if I want to do automation. That's why I've preferred most of the time to always make sure that it's on empty, the very first one. So any other one here that you feel you don't like, you can, or probably you feel you might not be using, it is advisable that you try out all of the ones that are here. You can try everything out, then you can now apply it to any of the beats, the part that you select. Maybe if you select this part, you see this is what is there. Then you can now come here and click down and then select a new one and try it out. Once you've done that, it is very simple. You can now go ahead. Oh, I think I selected empty. Do that. Good. Now you can now go ahead and save it as your own preference. Then you can now start using it. So you are not bound by just sticking with what is here per se. You can create yours. You can, arrange yours, put yours together, and then save it. That will help you. Now we have this loop, play mode, loop, one shot, and hold. The good thing about this is if I put it on loop, it means as long as it is pressed on, it will definitely continue to loop. Then one shot, it will just play once and that will be all. Hold is as long as my hand is on it, that's when it's engaged. When I take my hands off it, it becomes disengaged. Now, let's do this. Let me play and show you how this 3 works. There are some that might not actually work as when I'm in edit mode. So it's advisable that you pick what you want to pick here, then go back to performance mode and then try it out. Let me show you that. This is loop. This is one shot. As you can see, now when I'm here, the settings I changed for this pad is only affecting the pad. So don't think this is not like a global setting for the entire pad. It is for individual pad. So here it is because I selected, one shot. This one shot to be applicable to this particular pad. Like I said, the reason why it might not be applicable right now is simply because I'm in edit mode. Let me go to performance mode, and then you can see after, if I come back to empty, once I'm here, it will play once because it's in one shot and go back to empty. So that's basically how the one shot works. So if I come back here, I select this, then if I put it on hold, I'll still go back to performance. It simply means, let me come back here. If I press it, it will not stay. It, as long as my hand is on it, it goes back. When I press it, it should be applying that effect as long as my hand is on it. When I take my hands off, it goes back. Let's hear that, and let's hear basically how it sounds. So there you have it, how to work around this setting, how to select your pad for a particular, the kind of effect you want for a particular pad. And your dry and wet basically means the amount of this effect you want to apply onto that particular sample. The higher it goes in terms of your wetness, you definitely know that you are going to get more of that effect applied to your sound. But if it is lower, you're going to get just a little bit of it. And sometimes it might be good to keep it 100, and sometimes it's always very advisable that you take it down a little bit. By going back and forth, you are going to have an understanding, and you're going to be able to get a grasp of the level you need to set for each of your samples that you are using. Now let's play this again and play around with the dry and wet. It's on 0 now, so no effects applied. You can hear it there. It's just there. Nice one at the background, kind of like a reverb effect. But here, it's taking the lead. Here, completely taking the lead. I like to leave it there somewhere around 70 to 80, where it will still allow that, sound to pass through, to still allow a little bit of it to just pass through so I can hear. And then reasonably, I like to leave it at loop, most of it at loop. The reason is because when I'm doing my own automation, leaving it at loops kind of like help me to basically know, at least I want to hear it for this long before I move to the next one. You can do one shot. You can be like, when I just tap it once, go back to reset, let me tap, just use once, don't repeat it twice. And that also can work pretty well for you. Do you get? So now basically what we're going to do is we're going to just do a simple automation. There are a lot of ways you can do automation, but the simplest one, the very simplest one, I will take you through it. I'll show you how and where you can delete it. And then we're going to also talk about how and where you can, adjust it. Instead of deleting everything, you just want to adjust a little bit of it. 2 places, but one seems to be better than the other. And there is a formula, there's a calculation for it. I'll show you how that works as well. Now, for this Quantize, just in case you're wondering, what does it do? It basically just makes sure that your effect, as you are, pressing those parts, it is on beat, it is quantized. That's basically what it is. I'm sure you understand what quantized means. If you're wondering how does it apply here, basically it means it's not immediately when I push a particular pad that it will respond. It will wait for the next quantization spot. That's kind of like maybe like your bars. It waits for the next one, the next bar to come in, then it will automatically load it up and then play it along that 4-beat. Let's go back to the performance. Then we're going to play it, and I'm going to show you how the automation works. For me personally, all I need to do is just enable or engage the right. Then I'll start. Let's start. Now, as you can see, everything I tapped, all the pad I tapped while the read and write was enabled, everything, it will now continue to pick them up as it goes along the way. So you are not limited to just pressing one and making sure you use one across the entire program or across the entire pad. You can, select multiple, and then using your automation, it will definitely know when to jump onto that particular automation and pick it up and play that part, basically applying that effect to your sample. If you are also using maybe any other version of this MPC, I think the simple thing to just do is, while you are on your main, you can easily enable the read and write, then go to your flex beat, then come here and you can do the same thing. This is just making it easier for the so-called X users to tap it once and then you get in, so that you don't need to start changing screens. Now, what I've done right now is already automated and it's in there. So if you want to see what has been automated or how the automation looks like, okay, where best to see that other than if you go to your grid view and you scroll this up. If you switch this up and you click on velocity and you start tuning, you see probability to ratchet. The next thing you see is the flex beat player. Now, let me do this. So basically, this is what I've been able to do. Or as I was pressing it, this is what it's basically doing, automating the whole process for me. Okay, let me play so that you hear it and you see what happens at the 0 spot, the so-called resting spot, and then the other ones that went up. Now, you can see, isn't that awesome? You can play around with it and it will give you like a lot more to work with. Now, that is basically what automation is about. If you need to probably switch anything up or change something, one of the easiest places you can do that is still here. But what I'm going to advise you is, it might be a bit difficult kind of like to adjust the automation from here. And the reason is simple, because you have to use your pen and start adjusting by hand, and you don't even know exactly at what point you are selecting what. Now, let me give you the trick I always use. The trick I always use. If I come back to main and I go to the flex beat player, and it's applicable to virtually any other automation you're doing, know that this is actually 16, right? The pads are 16, which means I have 16 items to select from. But if you come back here, and while you are in here, you know that this particular line, this particular automation, anything, the minimum is 0 and the maximum is usually 127. For velocity, for anything, it's 0 to 127. Whoever came up with that idea, fine. But it is 0 to 127. Now, what you can easily do is you divide 127 by the number of the parameters you want to select from. If the parameter you are selecting from or you are automating is off and on, which is just 2, that means the first half of the 127 will be for the off, the second half will be for the on. So that's how you automate. That simple calculation can actually help you to get a lot of things done. Now, if you have, you have 16 pads or 16 parameters to select from, and you have 127. So the simple thing you do is you divide 127, the upper limit, by 16, number of the parameters. And you are going to get in the range of 7 to 8, something like that. So that means if you are editing and you are trying to use your pen to automate, if you draw the line and the line is just between 1 and 7, you are still within the very first part. You meant to cross to maybe 8 and you are going to like maybe 14, 15 or something like that, or 15, 16, you are already crossing to the second part, and then when you pass 16, you're already crossing to the third part. So if you are dividing 127 by, maybe you are automating just 3 parameters, you just divide 127 by 3, and you know that, oh, okay, probably when I get to maybe something like in the range of 35, 40, I'm still on the first one. When I get to something like around 50, 60, I'm still on the second one, and then anything above maybe like that 80, I'm already crossing to the third parameter. That is how you automate from here. But there's a place whereby it can actually be made a lot easier, and that's what I'm going to show you instead. I love that spot a lot, that particular place where I can actually go and see the numbers, and then I can edit it from there, and that is the list edit. So let me double tap here, and then it takes me to the list edit. And from the list edit, as you can see, currently I am on track 1, right? Then what do I want to view? I'm not viewing everything. I'm not viewing the notes, the aftertouch, the track automation. I want to see the program automation because I applied the automation to the programs. Now, this is the value of those parts as I was pressing them and pushing it in. Everything, you see, you have just 9, and this is all the values. So if we want to change any one of them, based on the calculation I gave you earlier, you can tell that these 4 and 4, those are the resting states, right? 12 sort of seems to be the second one, but it was just for a very short time, and I wasn't really sure. Okay, I think I just used it for a little while, yes. Then you have 44, you have 4, you have 44, 4. Let me play for you so you actually see how long and what those actually meant. Let me play. Rest it. Second one. So, as you can see, it's very easy to edit here. So let's say I want more rest states. I don't want just 2. I need this third one to also rest. All I need to do is click on it and take it back to either 0 or 4 or 5 or 6. You know, anything here, 6, it will be within the first stage. Nothing will happen because it's still within that 1 to 7 that I talked about, or like 1 to 8 or something like that. Now, if you now come to maybe, yeah, I think I like the remaining ones. Let me leave it at that. Then play it again. You will see what happens here. There'll be no, it will just be like the same resting state. So this is why it is very, very important and interesting that you should try to make your automation, make use of automation and editing, you know, using this particular interface. It's way better and way faster and way smoother than having to go to this view, having to go here and then selecting this place and now start using pen to, you know, write and draw, except you just want something. There are times that this might be good for what you are doing, but if you actually know exactly what you want to achieve and you need it to be automated, you can perform your automation. Then when you go back to your listed it here and you select program automation, if you are working on program, if it is track automation, you see it here. Program automation, this is basically where you see it's pitch bend and all those things. You see everything here. So for program automation, this is basically what it is. And you can easily adjust the value of the, you know, the numbers here. And like I said, take note of how you can calculate your values. It is very, very straightforward and easy. Once you get that calculation, you will be able to work here and it'll be faster for you to quickly just get it done here as opposed to going to draw or, you know, spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to get a straight line. Just do this and everything works. Your straight line will be intact. So that'll be all for now on how to apply the automation in terms of your flex beats. And I believe you've been able to grasp a thing or two on how to use it. You know, it is a very wonderful piece of, you know, plugin. And with this, I believe you'll be able to actually do more. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comment section. See you in the next one.